Welcome back to another episode of the Sound the Alarm podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Michael, here with Big John, and we have a great show in store for you today. We're going to be talking about a game-used Babe Ruth call shot jersey, the incorporation of Negro League stats into baseball, plus we're going to have our hit of the week, our best bet, and so much more. So Josh Gibson is now the MLB's all-time leader in average slugging OPS and holds the all-time single season record in each of those categories.
Stud.
Yeah, nasty. But I woke up to that news and I was like, okay.
I didn't even know this was coming.
The world has changed.
Yeah, I didn't know they were talking about this. I didn't know that this was in the works. Did you hear anything about this?
I had zero idea. It literally, the news dropped and I was like, okay, Ty Cobb. Okay, right. Pete Rose. Like
Babe Ruth's OPS, right? He took over?
Yeah, it's like, okay, what about Ichiro now? Like, so many things are going through my head where I'm like, I'm all for it. I know there's people that are against it, people that are for it, purists of the game. Like, baseball is baseball. What about Ichiro's hits now? What about Ichiro from Japan? I mean...
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people talk about that. I think it's different. And here's why. Different country, different part of the world. You know, the Negro Leagues, this was on our soil. You know, it should have been integrated a long time ago, but just because there was a wrong in the past doesn't mean you shouldn't correct it in the future if you have the ability to, which they do. So I think they got it right. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, well, you know, he played a lot of less games and, you know, it wasn't the same competition. But if you're going to make that argument, it actually goes both ways. Should Bob Feller's stats not count as much because he didn't have to face Josh Gibson? And that's a two-way street.
And also, I mean, I am a huge collector of Jackie Robinson, Brooklyn Dodgers, Negro League Baseball, Satchel Paige. The competition is better or was better in the Negro Leagues. Some of the best baseball players on the planet were in the Negro Leagues. And if you would add Satchel Paige up here pitching in the MLB, these hitters' stats would have been worse 100% because Paige was one of the best pitchers ever. And then do we extrapolate Negro League stats out even more? Because Bob Gibson stats from the pitchers he was facing are actually more impressive. He didn't have as many plate appearances, but you take those pitchers, put them in the MLB during that time, they're going to be exceptional. They're going to be an exceptional talent compared to the number 2, 3, 4 starters on a 1930s, 40s, 50s team. I mean, you had like plumbers. You literally had plumbers pitching in the MLB. And
everyone's acting as if it was MLB here, Negro Leagues right here. No, it would have been a mesh. There would have been tons of great players for battling for jobs, and stats would have looked a lot differently on both sides.
Oh yeah, 100%. So I have no problem with them doing that. But my beef is Ichiro's hits should count, man. Listen, it's been proven. You bring players over from Japan, they could ball, right? Like
for
our best player in baseball is Japanese.
Yeah.
Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
But, best talent of all time, you could say.
Yeah, and the talent pool there isn't bad. Like, you bring in an American player, and he tries to just get a deal over in Japan, he doesn't necessarily pan out a lot of the time. Like, a pitcher especially. It's hard to strike out these Japanese batters. It's just they have a different fundamental way about going about the game. So I do think you can make an argument because you can make an argument that Japanese baseball was just as prevalent to the game of baseball as Negro League baseball. Sadahara,
yeah, of course. But then where do you draw the line?
Croatian baseball. Like, there was no Croatian baseball. Like, you look at countries, I'm not really familiar with Dominican ball and all that type of stuff. Like, I mean, Clemente came in the mid-50s. The barrier was already broken. So I'm not exactly familiar with that. But if there are players that were playing in whatever that league was of Clemente's caliber, I'm all for counting it. I really don't know. That's one thing I'm not well versed in.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't think you can bring over the Japanese stats as much as I'd love to. Ichiro, in my eyes, besides Barry Bonds with steroids, is a whole nother issue that we could talk about another time. But in my eyes, Ichiro is by far the best pure hitter I've ever seen. I didn't get to really watch Tony Gwynn really, but Ichiro by far the best I've ever seen.
Gwynn did whatever he wanted.
Yeah, but you know what? From what I saw, so did Ichiro.
Yeah.
But I think you have to draw the line. Baseball, that MLB was started in America. Negro Leagues played on that soil. They should have been integrated. They were here. Everyone was on the same dirt, on the same ground. Taking Japanese stats from across the world, I think that's pushing it a little too much.
Yeah, but you know what? They call it the World Series.
They do.
So you're the best team in the world, are you?
Wow, that's a whole nother. That would be pretty cool.
Are you the best
well,
team in the
now you're
world?
talking about. Well, that's World Baseball Classic. That's what.
Yeah, but you take the Texas Rangers and put them against Team Japan, they're getting waxed. You know what I mean? Like, so are you the best team? You take Otani, you put him on Team Japan, like the Texas Rangers as who they are against Team Japan. I think Team Japan wins.
No, you're talking about because you're talking about a team in the Rangers from a pool of the league. And the Japanese team is a pool of a country.
Exactly.
Of course.
So it's like the World Series. I feel like if you're going to incorporate the word world, you should be including everything for baseball. Like the baseball is a sport. It's like it started here, it's here. There was so much in between. If you're bringing Negro League stats in too, there's definitely an argument to bring in stats from leagues that were pioneers for certain countries in the sport to bring them to where they are today.
There's definitely an argument to be made. I go back to where do you draw the line in the sand? And I think you draw it geographically.
So I'm a huge collector of vintage baseball, specifically Jackie Robinson. But I love weird oddball items. One of my coolest item I ever had, but I sold it, was the Phantom ticket sheet from Babe Ruth's Called Shot World Series.
That's sick.
Which leads me into his game-used jersey from the Called Shot is getting auctioned off. What is that thing? Like, is the over-under on that thing set at like 25 million?
I think it's over right off the bat. It's a holy grail. You could get into how many items in sports history, forget baseball, sports history, would you rather have than a Babe Ruth uniform where he called a shot? I can only think of one off the top of my head, and it's the bat that he used from the same game. The bat that he used from the call
goes
shot.
so hard.
But so you're talking about, I can't, anything from basketball, Jordan's first shoe that he wore, that's up there, but I'd rather have the Babe Ruth. I can't think of anything from football that comes close to Babe Ruth.
Jackie Robinson opening day jersey.
Yes.
I think if that gets
That's
put
right
at
there.
auction right now and Babe Ruth's Called Shot, it exceeds it. I don't think there's a more expensive piece of memorabilia in the world than opening day Jackie Robinson jersey.
I agree with you. I think Jackie opening day jersey.
What would be
supersedes.
what would be the most expensive piece of memorabilia?
Well, I was going to say, I think the Jackie jersey would be up against the Babe Ruth bat from the Cold Shot.
But is there a bigger Babe Ruth piece of memorabilia? His opening day jersey for the Red Sox?
I'd rather have the Cold Shot, I think.
Yeah, I feel like Ruth Red Sox doesn't do it for me.
That's his lure. That's his aura. He is the guy that called his shot.
Supposedly, allegedly.
Yeah, well,
Allegedly.
speaking of that, what could be more is if somebody finds the footage of Will Chamberlain's 100-point game.
No, all right. That ball, but no, the basketball crowd isn't big enough.
No, it still wouldn't go as
That's
hard
what,
as
yeah,
that,
it wouldn't go as hard. I think, I'm trying to think right now. I don't.
Let's think football. Is there anything
No,
football that
football,
comes
forget
close?
it.
No,
Nobody
right?
cares. Like, they care, but the market isn't the same.
And it's too recent.
Baseball is the market for as far as collectability. So what is that item? You have Ruth, right? You have Jackie. Those are like the two most.
Yeah, you know what? I think those things they're so transcendent that you probably have to go outside of sports. So you'd have to put up the Jackie jersey or the Babe Ruth bat and jersey against other pieces of history.
Yeah, like you'd have to have.
Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, like, but there were more than one of those.
Was it really?
Yeah, there's more than one Declaration of Independence.
How many?
I'm pretty sure, but I'm pretty sure everyone that signed it got one because they all had to have a declaration.
All right, so then what would you? Let's just say there's 20. Would you rather have a Declaration of
No, I
Independence
would,
or the Jackie?
the Jackie jersey. But like you're making an argument for, George Washington's rifle. Like that will go so hard.
How about his wooden teeth?
Does that exist? Like is George Washington's rifle like his like OG rifle, the one that he used, not like lightly worn like rifle practice. I'm talking about like this is mine. It's on my shoulder until the day I died. Like that. I don't think you. I'm probably wrong. It might go for like $1 million, but I feel like it would be 50 million, something like that. Who else? Like what is there out there similar? Albert Einstein, like no.
There's
all right. The bullet that killed JFK might go hard.
yes.
That might go hard. Like if you had that forensic, you got into evidence and you got the JFK bullet, that might go. That would probably. I don't know about. See, damn. The Jackie might go more.
And forget what your religious beliefs are. Take the religion out of it. Just the popularity. Anything like Jesus related. If you,
anything
that's
Jesus.
That's like billions. But
if you found like his robe, bro, it would be Elon versus like every other billionaire battling it. I think someone will go broke to own the robe. That's a billionaire.
if you found it, would you put it on?
You have to.
You have to put it on.
You have to put it on. But even forget about that. Let's think like what can you compare to the Jackie out there in like the Beatles, like whatever, like their biggest Beatle thing? No.
Well, think of the biggest, pop culture stars of all time. Who comes to mind? Elvis. Is there anything Elvis related?
No.
Like you said, the Beatles.
No. I think the bullet that killed JFK would be the closest thing.
Or Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln bullet will go hard. That would actually rival the Ruth.
Maybe anything going back like a long ways into, ancient Roman times, anything like that. Maybe anything, regarding pyramids. I don't know what it could be.
It gets
Artifacts, that type of thing.
Yo,
Think
you know
of
what
the
will go
company we're
hard?
talking about.
The Titanic.
Yeah.
If you had like from the Titanic, like the legit ship wheel.
That'd be great.
That might go hard.
It would.
Right? Like the ship wheel of the Titanic. But I don't know. But that's not 30 million. That's probably like 2 million.
Versus Jackie's opening day jersey.
Yeah, no, I'd rather
That's in
have
a
it.
muselum somewhere, I'm assuming.
What?
Jackie's opening day jersey.
Yeah, it's in somebody's collection probably.
It's privately
It
owned?
probably. I'm guessing, unless I missed it. It hasn't been traded in forever. I know his rookie jersey's been, but I don't know if that was proven to be his opening day jersey. That jersey probably is in a collection right now and hasn't been touched for 30, 40 years. That's what I would guess.
Imagine you go over to your grandpa's house. What's this? What's this dusty old
And it has
old
moth
jersey
holes in it, and
in
you
your closet?
ruined it forever. And it just has a number 2 on it.
Oh my God. All right. So, in case anybody didn't see it, which I hope you did, we had New York Yankees top prospect Spencer Jones in the building ripping with us on Memorial Day. It was a blast. As big as you think he is, he's bigger in person. He's a tall dude.
He's tall.
That was a lot of fun. What did you think about it?
One thing I noticed right off the bat is he's one of the smartest people I've ever spoken to.
Has that Vandy education?
Yeah, I didn't realize his dad's background too, right? He was into tech? His dad did something with tech, but he's so freaking smart and thinks so much more different than we do as far as just like, I can't even explain it.
He was playing chess and we were playing
Yeah, he's a smart dude. Yeah. And it's like, I feel like that, knowing that type of information about him leads me to believe he has a better chance to succeed on the diamond, just because he's very analytical and he's like breaking things down in slow-mo, I feel like, which leads to becoming a better bat. The best hitters in baseball ever. Bond said everything was slow motion. Soto says everything's slow motion when he's hitting. And those are, I feel like we could expect to see something like that from him.
Yeah, it's funny. It kind of incorporates with how the shift of baseball has gone as far as analytics. Back in the day, that would probably be taken as a negative. Oh, he's in his head too much. He's thinking too much. No, just go up there, swing the bat, don't think, see the ball, hit the ball. But now everything has shifted so much towards analytics and sabermetrics, the ability to conceptualize, analyze data, and use that to your advantage is a huge plus for him.
When he
for
threw
any
out the
player.
word telekinesis, I was like, yup. I was like, he's different. He's different.
If you gave me like $100,000 right now to spell that like live on camera, I wouldn't be able to.
I'd try.
I'd try.
I definitely need that
Make a fool of
100.
myself.
I need that 100. And now on to the hit of the week, sponsored by Blue Chew. Is your significant other tired of getting packages delivered to their home? Well, maybe it's time you get them a package they actually want. Visit BlueChew.com and use promo code FILTHY to get your first month free. Bang! So this week, you have gone back-to-back now.
2 for 2.
You had the hit of the week last week with the Orange Redemption Pete Rose, which could very well be the inscription. But what did you follow it up with?
So this week, out of Select Basketball, Select H2 Basketball, which, by the way, made a running for Product of the Year. Unbelievable product.
God.
1 of 1 black Steph Curry auto. Just chef's kiss, pun intended.
And didn't that come out of the same box as a white Wemby courtside?
Yep, white Wemby courtside, blue Scoot, red Brandon Miller. It just, the product was absolutely loaded.
That's insane. Join our Discord where we've been on absolute fire the entire year. And the best part is it's absolutely free. Filthbombmbets.com to get in on the action today.
What were some of the new bets you had this week? Some of your best bets? What went down?
So I was very close to going 7 for 7 and got mushed and wound up going 5 for 7 in a round robin, which would have won $10K. There was no huge bet. I bet just like a unit on everything or a half unit, but I ended up going up 10 units, I think, this past week, which for those of you that are unfamiliar, a unit is just basically if you would have been a $10 better, you would have won $100 last week. If like $10 was what you bet on a game. $100 better is up 1,000 and $1,000 better is up 10 grand. So you definitely want to get in that Discord, filthbombbets.com. Shameless plug, but
It's all free.
it's free.
All of your bets are free.
And I'm telling you the truth, I'm so nice with it. I'm the live bet god. So just, you're going to want to hop in there and follow. It's a little hectic, though, following my live bets because it's on the fly. But, man, you follow.
Sound the alarm! Filthbomb!
All right, so for this segment, we're going to be talking about the product of the week. And I don't think there's a better person in the company to bring on besides Filthbomb Paul than Filthbomb Mike.
Yeah, Paul's the wrestling guy, but I'm the secondary wrestling guy.
He's the guy, but you're the mark, right? You're like the biggest wrestling geek here.
Yeah, Paul's like the big wrestling breaker, but I'm just a massive mark. He calls me a mark all the time.
Huge fan. Him and Troy from David Adams.
Biggest two marks in the card industry is me and Troy from David Adams.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there are any bigger marks.
I own it.
At least you do own it. So we have Panini Immaculate coming out next week, which is a high-end product. It's licensed, which is nice because I know you do baseball.
Yeah.
And it's never licensed, so you're not a big.
That's why I never rip it.
baseball guy. But it's supposedly going to be really good this year. I know you're excited about it. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm super excited. It comes out, June 7th, which is like 3 days after my birthday. So if my fiance's listening, you better get me a box of Immaculate. That's my birthday wish. All right, I like it. I like the rookie class this year. One of my favorite rookies in this set and in the entire year for wrestling is Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton is probably going to be the top women's wrestler, the next rising star in the company. You also have Carmelo Hayes, who's the next rising star in the company. This product's going to be great. It's good because you have all the all-time greats from the 80s and 90s. You have Stone Cold autos, Undertaker autos. And then you have the recent guys as well who sign, the GOAT like Roman Reigns. It's going to be always a great set. You have dual autos, quad autos, triple autos, patch autos. I saw on the checklist they had this Rhea Ripley patch auto. That's another one. She's probably like the biggest star in the business right now. She's hurt right now. I know people are missing her.
It's nice, too, because you could do hit drafts with that product. Which
Yeah.
is really, it's a fun way to get in the break where everyone's going to get a card guaranteed. And then also, it's a nice deep checklist, so you can pick your wrestler.
Yeah, that's my favorite way to rip that is to pick your wrestlers because it's deep and you don't have to pay too much, for certain wrestlers. I think that's the format. But hit drafts are fun too. That's a good way to rip that one. That's usually what people do when they rip the other sports, right? I don't watch Immaculate.
That or random player.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's gonna be a good break to do for Immaculate. I think it's gonna. You know what I noticed? I noticed wrestling cards lately because someone posted this on Twitter that the value and the prices of wrestling cards have been going crazy lately. Ever since WWE, especially in the last year, has just been absolutely on fire. Bringing in guys outside of the sport, bringing in Logan Paul, the deal with TKO, like the card market's following. It's like someone posted the other day that it was the first time ever where a certain amount of wrestling cards were hitting 4-digit prices, like on eBay. Great comps on cards. So Immaculate, being one of the best products, like the secondary market of these cards, especially for the top chasers, is going to do really well.
Well, I pulled that Charlotte Flair gold from Prism.
Yeah.
And
you didn't even realize that the value of that.
Good. And it actually sold for almost $1,000 at bids.
Yeah. Wrestling's great because you could kind of tell sometimes who's going to be a rising star. Not like in baseball, like you kind of have to guess. Like a guy like LA Knight is like one of the biggest rising stars, and that he's just on the rocket ship all the way up. You pull an LA Knight auto, that card goes hard as well. It's just a little easier with wrestling than other sports. You don't have to do too much guessing. And the GOATs sell really well too.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to invest in. Like you're investing in actors, so I like it a lot.
Chill with the actors. These are professional athletes, Steve. Professional athletes. It's still real to me, okay?
No, it's not. I totally agree. I'm investing in Pirates of the Caribbean.
The Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not the same.
It's going to be nice.
All right.
All right, so the NBA Finals are set. Boston Celtics, Dallas Mavericks. Who you got?
So it pains me to say it. Lifelong Knick fan. Love Julius Randle. PC. Has there been an easier road to the finals than what we're seeing right now with the Boston Celtics?
Not that I could think of. Maybe I know a lot of people got hurt on Kawhi's Toronto Raptors run. Maybe people won't like to hear that, but I think that was kind of easy. But not this easy.
Raptors weren't even as good as the Celtics are this year, and they had to kind of still grind it out. I mean, Butler-less Heat, Mitchell-less Cavs. Hallie was hurt. Halliburton-less Pacers, right?
Yeah.
And as is, those teams weren't even that good with their stars, right? Like they weren't NBA championship teams, right?
No.
So they walked, basically. They just took a nice stroll to the NBA Finals.
All of those teams would have lost to the Nuggets. On the other side.
And now they're facing a Dallas Maverick team, which is good. It's a very solid team, but they're beat and battered. They're like, they played way more games than the Celtics. And it's also, they're inexperienced. They have Kyrie, who's won a championship. This is the deepest Luke has ever been. Who else is even like PJ Washington? Like, it's those two, and then the Celtics are just so deep. They got Brown, Tatum. White is the perfect role player. You need him for 30, he'll drop 30 for you. And their defense is just relentless.
He is good. I like Drew Holiday.
I mean, I didn't even mention Drew because I'm thinking points. I just feel like the Wolves were an impressive defensive team. They definitely wore down the Mavericks going into the finals. And now you're going to get that again. And hope you could bring it 7. They're gonna just be. I think they're too tired, man. Celtics are just a better team on paper, on the court, and they're just rested and they're ready. Like all these guys they've not won a championship. They won a championship. They failed, and if they don't get it this year, like it's like you just blow it up at that point. Like there's so much pressure to win it that I feel like they're going to.
if Tatum doesn't win this year and he loses 2, this will be his second. That affects the legacy that he's trying to build. He doesn't really have one yet, but he's trying to build one. He has the potential to. That hurts you going 0-2.
You gotta win it this year, and I feel like it's just a perfect storybook. Like the way the story was written to where it is now, they don't even have to face the Nuggets. Like it's like, yo, give us the Mavs, which is like the best you could do. I feel like the Wolves would have had a better shot against the Celtics.
I think the Wolves are too young. I think they'll be there. Ant-Man, I think it's ridiculous. Is he Jordan's son? That's a whole nother podcast. But I'm actually taking the Mavs. And funny enough, though, for the same reasons that you said, the Celtics had such an easy road. They haven't been tested. Mavericks have been fighting. And you said the T-Wolves wore them down. I don't think they did. They didn't break it. The Mavericks just like easily just wiped the floor with them. Were they tough games? Yeah, but they won the first
Every
3
game
games.
was close,
Every game was close,
though.
but they won. You can take that as a positive. They won the first 3 games. It really wasn't a contested matchup. And the Mavericks have had those tough games close in the fourth quarter. You've seen Luka. He's got that dog in him. Luka's got that dog in him.
No, you can't. That's that. He has the it factor.
Yeah.
But again, like if Kyrie's off for any part of this series, they have 0 chance. Luka has that it factor, but like you see at the end of the games, like he's red. He's just like, he's on fumes, but he's still pushing through it. It kind of reminds me of the Butler run with the Heat last year when he got him to the Nuggets. Like I feel
ran
like
out of steam a bit.
Yeah, I feel like Luka's been doing it. He's been carrying it. He's freaking putting up career numbers for himself in the playoffs. So it's like you get to this point and eventually just you've seen it, like we've been on the court before. Like you get against a team that's in better shape than you, or that's just fresh, and you're just like a different game. You're just like, whoop.
Yeah, but
they're rested.
Luka styles his game though that he moves at his own pace and he uses it to his advantage. I'm not that worried about that. Him late in the fourth quarter, give me him over anybody in that series. And you know what? Maybe give me Kyrie number 2. Late in the fourth quarter, you have 1 shot to win it, and you have the Mavericks and Celtics pool to choose from. I'm going Luka 1, and I might go Kyrie 2. So if you're giving me the 2 top guys on the same team in crunch time, I'll take that team.
I agree with you on that. I don't think it gets there. That's not the thing. Like I think we're gonna just see games where it's gonna be like
get there at some point. It has to.
I maybe for one game, but it's like you're gonna need that dog for the whole series, in my opinion. So it's like I think the Celtics win by like 8, where you're not in the first game. Like it's just not even like you don't get to that point. The second game, home game again, I think it's like another double digit or not like a 2-point game, no buzzer beaters. So it's like that's where they excel is like crunch time. But if you don't get to that point in crunch time to actually utilize it, it's a moot, point. So I'm excited to see what happens. I do think, though, the Celtics win this series 4-1.
I'll give me Mavs in 6.
And maybe 4-2, but yeah, I'd be shocked. The only way that I could be wrong is if Kyrie drops 40 in a game, Luka drops 40 in a game, or 50 in a game, and that gets them 2 dubs, and they claw out another one, and we get our way to like 6 or 7. That's the only way I see it going deep. Otherwise, if it's just what they've been doing, it's going to be in 5 or 6.
And I think it's really important for the Celtics to come out strong because we've seen the media and everyone kind of pit Tatum, Jaylen Brown against each other, right? If they come out slow, I think that's just going to magnify. Oh, here we go again. Is Tatum and Brown, can they work together? And that can snowball, and it has the potential where the Mavs can just all of a sudden come out like they did against the T-Wolves, and wow, it's 3-0 Mavs, and nobody's ever come back.
But the only one thing I'll say to comment that before we wrap this up, when I see what the Celtics did against, it was the Sixers, right? Last year, they almost blew it, but then they won Game 7. That shows some dog because the amount of pressure riding on that game when you just blew the series, it's immense. Like you can't put Tatum's thinking, if I lose this game, like my story is written before it's, before I'm 27, they know I'm mush. They know I'm not clutch. So it's like even though Derek White, didn't he win that game basically for him in Game 7, if I remember correct?
Very underrated there. He's having a great
But-
year and a great playoff run.
But I'm just saying, like, being tested in that situation, even though they didn't win, being tested in that series and winning, I do think that helped them build and learn, and it's going to help them excel in this series. And that'll do it for another episode of the Sound the Alarm podcast. Until the next break, Case Box Pack, we're signing off and saying, sayonara, bro, Tanis. Catch you on the flip side and make it a filthy one.